Welcome to the Sanity Project podcast, where you can awaken your mind to clarity and success even in today's life challenges. We're here to provide insights and solutions that will help you live a sane, healthy, and prosperous life. Here's your host, JoAnne Victoria.
Hello, everybody. This is JoAnne Victoria with another amazing episode of the Sanity Project podcast. You, the listener, are here to discover a life of clarity, confidence, and success, and awaken your mind. And your mind will be awoke as soon as we get into our meeting with JAnmetra Louise Waddell.
Yes.
JAnmetra, also called JoJo, we could try that for a while, is the only, and that's in uppercase caps, people, live past crazy specialist. She works with individuals to identify, analyze, and release the crazy in their lives while providing a safe space for them to master their ability to begin to live past crazy. JoJo has written 3 books so far. One is Fearless Woman, Born to Give Thanks. The other is Transition to Freedom. And the third is Mommy and Me, Mental Health Awareness. JAnmetra is an award-winning and Amazon's international best-selling author and has also had the opportunity to share the screen with the late actor Tommy Ford in the movie The Last Time. JAnmetra has an amazing ability to connect immediately with her audience. I know we connected immediately prior to the show, and invite them into her experience of living past crazy. Her philosophy and deep desire is to support those for their journey to begin to live past crazy. Welcome to the show, JAnmetra.
Hey, Miss JoAnne.
That's what they used to call me. Isn't that great that you know that already?
Yes. And I sing song. I don't know why I sing words, but I always have to sing people's names, like when I say it. So
I like that. I like my name put to music.
How are you doing today? Thank you so much for having me.
Well, I'm grateful that you are here. The audience doesn't know how I get podcast guests. There's various ways. But JAnmetra Waddell was on purpose about sending me a private email with a long, very profound content about wanting to be on the show, and it didn't take me any time except reading till the end to just reply with the link to book herself on my show, because she is my kind of guest.
Yes, ma'am.
So tell us how you got to be the Live Crazy specialist. How did you get here?
The journey, it's a fun one. And I like to give people the short, condensed version because I don't want to,
of course,
the people. So how I got here is it's been 16 years. 16 years ago, I was in an abusive marriage, and my abuser just happened to be the pastor of my church, which is a story you don't hear every day.
No.
And so,
sorry,
what do you mean your pastor knocked you upside your head? Yeah, he pushed me out of a moving car right before he preached your Sunday sermon. Mm-hmm. So, people are like, okay, you're crazy, and this did not happen to you. And so for the years that I was married to him, life was insane for me. And the day I chose to leave, that was the day I began to live past crazy. Now, I had no idea that I'd be the only live past crazy specialist, 16 years ago. I just knew that I had to live. Like, this was not it. And I walked out that door, and Joanne, I walked out to a car that had no insurance, no tag, no registration. It had nothing. The front wheel would fall off if you did over 50, and it only held $3 worth of gas. And that $3 worth of gas took me over an hour and a half to the next major city, where by that time I was like, okay, all I had was my wallet on me. I had a preemie who had just got out of the hospital. She'd been in the hospital for 30 days because she only weighed a pound when she was born. So I have a newborn and a 7-year-old. And I was like, okay, I have the wallet. Let me get money out of our joint bank account. He had cleaned out the checking and the savings account.
Of course.
Of course. Why wouldn't he? So I found myself at a shelter with 2 kids, asking a strange lady, do you have underwear for me? Do you have undergarments? It was a very humbling experience. But that was the day that I began to live past crazy. And so here I am 16 years later. And I just took time to look back over, like, how did I really get here? What steps did I continuously do over and over and over that got me to where I am now? And so that's my purpose, is to share those steps, because I don't want us to make it complicated. I want it to be very simple so that you can live past crazy.
Sometimes I wonder if we need to really move out of crazy. I think it's sometimes safe to be in crazy.
Oh my God, yes. Now, please, you need a touch of crazy in your day so that you can go after that crazy dream and that vision that can't nobody else see but you. You need a touch of crazy. Absolutely.
I totally agree with that. That's why I have my podcast is called the Sanity Project podcast, because I want people who are crazy and can still come out the other side successfully, whatever that means to them. But sanity it depends, sanity is crazy, but is crazy sanity? So I don't know.
Yes.
I don't know.
And it is however you get through this life and arrive on the other end, that's your sanity and your crazy mix.
Yes.
So you have to figure it out.
So if somebody I talked to somebody yesterday. And I said, why don't we try X? Oh, I don't feel like it. And I said, what do you feel like doing? Well, I don't know. I says, what do you mean when you feel? I said, are you bleeding? Have you hurt your hand? Because in my point of view, feeling is about, hurt, pain. And the person was just stuck and was unwilling or unable, I think unwilling, to move forward. And I gave her an exercise of, writing things down. And God knows she could still be writing while this is being published. And, I said, you could even write down you don't want to do this or something, but I think you've got to get all that trash out of the way. Yes. And I think that a lot of people have more trash today in their minds than they ever have had before.
Yes.
And that's crazy. So this is one of the things that you can help our listeners who, have identified so much with things outside of themselves, whatever is going on out in the world, which is a wasteland that you should ignore, in my opinion.
Yep, absolutely. I totally agree.
It doesn't exist. And the more you hold on to that, the crazier you're going to get. So how can people get out of crazy?
So, and I totally agree with everything that you said. I think, and I tell people, I'm just JoJo from North Carolina. This is my sole theory, and I'll take what you need from it and leave the rest for someone else. I am a firm believer that we are stuck because there's a few things. Number one, we are afraid to ask the question that we already know the answer to. I don't want to ask that question because I already know the answer. I'm not willing to do the work of the answer. So if I can ignore the fact that there's an answer sitting there for my problem, that means I'm not going to ask the question. So now I've become attached to my struggle story, because my struggle story, we like to tell it because it gives us a certain outcome. I can tell you, I'm a single mother and all the woe is me. But I like the outcome of the story that I tell. When I tell it, I like that Joanne feels sorry for me. I like that you give me pity, or perhaps you give me money, or perhaps you do this. And we become attached to our story. And until we're ready to let go of the struggle story, then we're not going to move. And some people are afraid to let go of it because there's like, if I don't tell the struggle story, well, what the hell am I going to say? Like, I have nothing good to say. And I'm sure we all can find people in our lives that if they could not complain, they would literally couldn't open up their mouths because they can't say anything good about a day at all. And some people don't want to let go of their struggle story because they assume they won't have anything to say. And I suggest that you find yourself a new story. Well, how do you find a new story? Well, every day you need to do one thing that is total opposite of what you're doing. Because when things are ugly and hard, when you're first beginning this journey of changing your mindset and, doing all the things people say to do, it is hard to look at your current space and to envision something different. And that's a hard place to be. And how you get yourself out of that stuckness and to get to the vision or the dream that you want is that every day you got to do something different. Now, you need to swap out one thing, be it a friend, a television show, a book, a place. But I suggest you start with your mindset, because nobody can see in your mind. Only you can see in there. So if you replace one negative thought with a positive one, And if you can follow that out for the next 30 days, you're going to be in a different place. But some of us are stuck because we wholeheartedly want to be. It is too much work to invest in ourselves to live different. Because I like the results I get when I complain and when I hold on to my struggle story. So Grant Cardone says, you got to be interested. You got to be committed. You can't be interested. He said, if you're interested, your excuses, which are valid, will always be valid. So every time something comes up, oh, I can't do it, your excuses will be valid enough that you won't do it. But if you're committed to being unstuck and changing, your excuses, which are valid, will not be the reason for you not to continue on your journey. So I think we have to be willing to have that. I know I went a roundabout way, but we have to be really honest with ourselves to, are we going to do the work and be committed to the work of getting past the struggle?
Well, there has to be a point of no return.
Mm-hmm.
And I make it every day. Every night before I go to bed, I make a list of what I'm going to do the following day. And I know that that's part of what I need to do, even if I don't want to do it.
Right.
I mean, especially now I've been mostly home for months here because whatever. And, I have to say it's a choice, because otherwise then I would be like a victim, and I don't do victim.
Yep.
It's just not who I am. I've got a lot of excuses. I got a lot of reasons. I've got a lot of valid reasons where I could do victim, as the other people you're talking about. But what's the point? It makes you feel bad. You get sick to your stomach. You get fatter than you already are. You drink, you get drunker. If you are angry, you get angrier. And all of those things are not going to help you.
Yeah.
And you must climb over or walk through the wall, or even walk around the wall. And I'm sure you can help people do that. That's what you do. You help people refine their life by being the firm person that shows them how to, heal their heart.
Yeah.
You heal the heart, you will change your mindset. People don't, when I write about, neuroplasticity, when you could change the ruts in your brain.
My favorite subject.
Oh, really?
Yes, I have just entered the wonderful world of how the brain works, and Mr. Joe Dispenza and all of his wonderful brainness.
Yeah, there's just so much out there about that right now, and it's like the brain. Okay, we have power over our brain. People don't go, I can't. What are you talking about? But you do. You have power over your brain, and if you take that, when you're talking about changing that one thing a day, each day for 30 days, when you're changing that one thing, you're creating a new channel in your brain. And the bad channel, the one that doesn't work I'm going to call, well, it is bad. If it doesn't work for you, if it's negative, it's not good. That will shut down. That will fill in. It will puff up. Use your imagination. Everybody has seen a visual of the brain one time or another, and sees all those little ruts floating around. And those little ruts, if they're not good ones, we need to have them shut down. And we have the power to do that.
Yes. We absolutely do. And I think, and we don't realize that is our superpower. And I tell people all the time, and people say, oh, JoJo, I'm not that powerful. I'm not that smart. You are so smart that, because here's my opinion, that the natural progression of you is to be great. That is your natural progression of yourself. From the time you're a kid to, whatever age you are, the natural progression of you is to be great. But your mind is so powerful. You convince your whole self and the creator of the universe that you're not that great, and you refuse to grow. That's how powerful you are. And just imagine if you could just reverse that, just for the day, just for the second, to acknowledge your superpower, to use it in a different way. But our power, we haven't even begun to tap into how powerful our mind can be. And I'm a firm believer that what you see right now, what you're living right now, is a result of what you thought last week, last month, last year. That's what you're living today. And I'm sure, Joanne, you had a thought to have a podcast. Well, you had that thought, and then you followed through with it. And so the result of that thought is here today. And the same thing with our life. If we choose to live in lack, it is because we chose that thought every single day.
Well, it's interesting when I do take a step to do something, whether change my website, change my perspective on who I deal with, start a podcast, write blogs, do all the things, I have no choice. Because the message is given to me.
Yes.
The message is given. Now, between the message and the occurrence might take a little bit of time, but that means nothing in the realm of how much time truly is. We don't know what time is. I mean, we just say it's 24 hours because some people in Greece years ago decided it was. It's actually 25, closer to 25 hours in a day.
Yes.
But God forbid we give something complicated to people to think about, and it's not divisible. So by four, so it's just ridiculous. So once we get the message, it's done. Number one, God says, okay, that's what you're doing. And I go, okay. And, if you say so, because I follow the rules, that's my guide.
Yes.
My committee tells me what to do. And in every step of my life, whether I get up out of the chair, whether I walk to a specific room, it's in charge because I am melded with that. And I think that you help more people get melded with that power. So the individual superpower and the superpower work hand in hand.
Yes. Yeah. So they can flow together because I truly think that's why we're frustrated. I know that's why a lot of us are, at least for me. So I like to do what I call confessions and conversations with JoJo. And that's where I'm going to use my real life because, what better, learn from my mistakes. Sure. So my confession was I was working at IBM making $12.26 an hour. I was angry, mad, and frustrated because I'm a single parent, 2 kids, getting a master's degree. I can't even put gas in my car to come to work. And I'm mad because my job won't pay more. Nothing in my mind says, JoJo, you have 2 undergraduate degrees, honey. You are working at IBM. You could just redo your resume, and get a better job. Nothing in my mind said that at all. I was convinced that my plight in life was to be a single parent forever, to make $12.26 and never to succeed at anything. And I was convinced. And so we're frustrated again because we're not even allowing our abundance to come to us. And I tell people, you can pray all you want. I'm a firm believer. You can pray, honey. You can be dipped in holy oil. You can have the laying of the hands. You can do all the things. But if you don't actually do the work, your prayer is in vain. And if you don't believe what you prayed for, that creates a space of disbelief. So that's why we can have a dream and assume we're never going to reach it because we have so much space of disbelief. But if you could just work on it day by day, that space of disbelief from your dream to reality becomes shorter. And we're frustrated because we're not putting in the work to even get to that part. We're just assuming that this is it. And, it's a wonderful place to get to where you allow your abundance to come to you and, to go with the flow of it. But it has to have a place to go first.
Yes, you have to create its own receptacle.
Yes.
To put in there, to put the good stuff, the new good stuff in there. You can't just say, oh, I want that and worry. Okay, so somebody's walking around with this huge box for you, but they don't know where you are because you haven't told them where you live. So they want to give this to you. It could be a little box. It could be diamonds. It could be gold. Yes. It could be whatever, a facelift, whatever. It's all in that box, but they don't know where you are. How do they give it to you? You have to name yourself. JAnmetra, JoAnne, I am ready for this. Deliver it to me. And then you wipe your hands and you walk back, and then all of a sudden your world changes because new work is in front of you. And you go, where'd this come from? Okay, I guess. What do you mean I have to do that? Well, when you ask, it's God will give us, and it takes, I think it takes for most people a long time to hear the voice. Yes. Yep. To hear the voice of whoever you want to hear the voice from, whoever your little pumpkin is that's on your shoulders. Yes. And then you hear the voice, but, okay, what you have to say when they say, I will give this to you, you have to say, what do I need to do? What do you want? What do I need to do? And, I've got some responses like, oh, take a nap or take some action or read a book or research. It's like when I did my podcast, I researched it for a year. Mm-hmm. Because, well, number one, I'm crazy, but I researched for a year to see who are these people? What are these people about? I did not achieve perfection in my annual research, but what I had was more of an understanding of how to do it, what worked so that it could fit into my brain at that time. Mm-hmm. And it has to fit into your brain wherever you're at. Mm-hmm. So know that when you get a response from what your next step is, because it's always, what is my next step?
Yes.
And that you will be told.
Yes. And you will be told exactly what you can handle at the moment.
Yes.
So you may not see the fullness of your vision right today. Like, you can only handle this small bite-sized piece. And you've got to be dedicated to that small bite-sized piece. And then, and here's the thing, once you change your mind to receive it, like you said, and do the work, and your mind accepts, okay, this is what I'm doing, you are amazed at how easily the answers come to you and how they flow to you. It's amazing. Well, now you're focused, and you have something that you're working towards, where before you were not. I'm a firm believer that every morning I get up, I've got to give my words and my breath direction. So for me, that means I wake up and I say, good morning, JoJo. I talk to myself in the third person. Good morning, JoJo. What are we going to accomplish today? Well, today I give my words and my breath the direction to do this. And I'll list out a couple of things before I get out of the bed. I'm giving myself direction for the day, or else you'll be lost in the day, and it's going to be frustrating yet again on why you're not moving forward or why you don't understand it. And once you get that answer and you receive it and hear it, you will be so amazed at how easily they come and how easily the answer was already right there in front of you.
Yep, I totally understand.
Yeah.
So I'm telling our audience now that if they look wherever they are, if they're listening to your podcast on my website or any of the other places I have your podcast, iHeart, Spotify, dozens, whatever. I don't even can't even keep up. There's all, it's just, something new. You are going to provide them with a gift of a 5-day guided journey in the form of a PDF. Can you talk a bit about that so people know what to expect, if you can?
So, yeah, I call it SelfCare is Gangster. It's a 5-day guided journey to what self-care is for you. And everybody defines it. Everybody defines their journey different. But this is a series that is going to, every morning at 6 a.m., you'll get, in your email, the information that you need. That they are prompts. That comes with a quote and words of the day. And some of us, I think we're afraid to say the words like abundance, or I want more, or I want to win, or I want to succeed, because people have attached negative words to it. And so our first exercise is to look at all the words that people have given you that to you means something bad or negative. Then I want you to look up the actual definition of that word, and then choose which definition are you going to choose. And I think a lot of times it's really that simple. Redefining ourselves is really that simple. Look at the words, find some that feel good to you, and use those words. And it's just as simple as that. And so it's 5 days of walking you through questions that I've asked myself that have helped me along the journey, that I continue to ask myself, to make sure that I'm getting the most out of JoJo, and that I'm not doing less than that is required of me.
Yes, especially on that particular day. So for those of you who want to contact JAnmetra right away, her email address is JAnmetra at livepastcrazy.com. Do I have to spell that? LIVEPASTCRAZY.com. And her website is called livepastcrazy.com, and it's a stunning website. It's really beautiful.
Thank you.
And it's very lively. And JAnmetra also sells some interesting things, and I'm not even going to tell you what they are. I want you to just make sure you go to the site, after you listen to this podcast again. I always tell people, re-listen to the podcast immediately because you'll have forgotten whatever you heard. And have a pen handy or whatever it is, your phone, and record whatever it is. But there's some things that you have missed that you need to know right now. At another time, you listen to it a third time. And then you also share this with your friends, family, enemies, doesn't really matter. Just share this with people because, number one, JAnmetra has spent a lifetime up till a few years ago of suffering. And suffering has to be healed. And she's telling you how she did it. She's giving you a first-person live guide to how you can get rid of your fear, your panic, your suffering. And we need all the help we can get, and she is here to give it to you. And JAnmetra is available all over social media. She's got her own YouTube channel, Fearless Woman, Us, and then Facebook, which will all be on the page on my website and on Facebook and on LinkedIn specifically. Those 2 places will have all the links, 3 places. And are there any words you want to give to our audience in completion here today, JAnmetra?
I always like to leave with 2 quotes that are my favorite that were kind of life-changing for me really 3. One is, don't let what you cannot do interfere with what you can do. And that's by John Wooten. We're so focused on what we cannot do that we don't even think about the possibilities of what we can do. So that quote changed my life. And the second one is, never close your mind to an idea simply because it's miraculous. Meaning, you have the best ideas. You are so powerful and smart beyond measure, but because it came to you, you think, oh, surely it didn't mean to come to me. But it actually did. It really did. It came to you on purpose. And so don't close your mind to an idea simply because it's miraculous. I love that quote. And then the third one is that you're absolutely qualified to be exceptional. You're just nervous in front of your current community. And that's okay too. It doesn't negate the fact that you are qualified to be exceptional. And I think when we start to just receive and believe that, what we can achieve then is just out of this world amazing. Obstacles don't even begin to faze us anymore because, you have your vision in front of you. So those are my 3 favorite life-changing quotes that I like to share.
Okay. Don't let what you cannot do interfere with what you can do.
Yes.
Never close your mind to an idea
simply because it's miraculous. I love that one.
I know.
That's beautiful.
And you're absolutely qualified to be exceptional.
Yes.
Okay, everybody. I thank JAnmetra for being here today. She's been an exceptional guest. If I do say so myself, she is grand, and the message she's giving right here is perfect. And she also gave me an idea for something, and then I'll tell her after the show. And if anybody wants a free book, go to my website and you can get the True Self Handbook, a guide to transform your life, and sign up to receive some super exceptional, relevant posts from me on a semi-daily basis. Have a great I make my commitment, but it's no longer 7 days a week. Okay, yes. Everybody, have a great day, and I look forward to next time. Bye-bye.
I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Sanity Project podcast. Please go to AskJoanneVictoria.com to listen to more podcasts. Check out Joanne's coaching programs and get a free copy of her report, 5 Steps to Achieve Life-Work Harmony. That's AskJoanneVictoria.com. Take care, and thanks for being here.